Hello, and welcome all instructors. My name is Savannah Mapes, and I'm a PhD candidate at the Virginia Institute of Marine Science, studying the dynamics of harmful phytoplankton in the lower Chesapeake Bay. I have incorporated some of the ideals of my research into a lesson plan for upper-level high school students as a part of the Virginia Scientists and Educators Alliance program. If you are interested in teaching your students about the significance of phytoplankton, both the good and the bad, as well as introduce them to the scientific process, then my lesson plan is for you. In the short video, I will give you a brief summary of this lesson plan. The procedure for the lesson plan is broken into 4 parts. In part 1, the instructor will capture the attention of students by reading aloud an engaging introduction to phytoplankton, while also displaying supplemental figures that will help students visualize what phytoplankton are and how photosynthesis works. The instructor will continue to engage students in visual learning in part 2 of the procedure by presenting the PowerPoint entitled, "Who is that phytoplankton?" This presentation will prepare the class for the lesson by introducing them to harmful algal blooms, explaining what they are, how they impact the world, and the importance of monitoring their presence. After students have had a chance to visualize what phytoplankton are and comprehend the large-scale impacts that they can have on the environment as well as human life, then they will start thinking like a scientist in part 4, where they will dive deep into the literature of harmful phytoplankton, aka interpret the vocabulary terms and break down the background information that I provided. In part 4, the students will complete a set of worksheets with 4 activities where they will apply the information they've acquired and perform observational, analytical, and critical thinking skills like a scientist. In activity 1 of these worksheets, students will investigate the scene of a harmful algal bloom. They will assess an aerial image of a bloom by writing down observations that they think might be important for diagnosing the phytoplankton that's responsible for the bloom. They will then use these observations and the phytoplankton identification guide to formulate a hypothesis about the bloom's causative species. In activity 2, students will generate data by collecting a water sample from the bloom that they observed and made inferences on in activity 1 and perform phytoplankton cell identifications and counts on the cells in their sample. And by this, I mean that students will ID and count cutout images of phytoplankton that you have placed in a reusable cup. Activity 3 is geared towards your more creative students who will have the opportunity to apply key information from this lesson into a sort of art project. Students will invent and illustrate a blooming phytoplankton species. In this illustration, they will integrate at least 3 adaptations that phytoplankton have to help them grow. And lastly, activity 4 is a lesson reflection worksheet for them to demonstrate that they have understood the material in this lesson. I hope you all enjoy this lesson plan and be sure to check out others from the Virginia Seed program because they are all awesome. Thank you for your time.